Welcome back to DHN. I'm Wade Teamer, back again with another Origin Trail update for you. This time, we're talking about aerospace, engineering, manufacturing. Origin Trail has been entrusted by the EU for a very special initiative called DMAS, and I can't wait to share the details of this one with you. Origin is one of the newer projects that we're diving into, and I must say, I do not regret that decision for 1 second. So, top of the story. Trace Labs, the core developer of Origin Trail, has joined the EU's initiative to foster a resilient and adaptive manufacturing ecosystem through the DMAS project. Now, this is a huge collaboration with a huge number of countries getting involved here. So, we're talking about government representation, Spain, Slovenia, Germany, Turkey, Belgium, just to name a few, guys. But the initiative will leverage the Origin Trail decentralized knowledge graph and knowledge assets to encapsulate all pertinent information regarding products, processes, facilities, and human expertise. So what they're looking to address is perfectly described here in this little story that they talk about. Back in January, there was an incident with a Boeing 737 where one of the door plugs essentially blew out mid-flight. Now, the problem is that there wasn't enough cross-organizational communication, or if you work for a factory or a warehouse, let's say somebody on one level gives a direction that's supposed to make it down to the level that you're at. However, by the time it gets to that level, it's a completely different order. That actually has more impact on the supply chain, on the value chain, on the whole process than people really realize. So in a real world sense, that's what this application is looking to address. Now, Trace Labs specifically will lead the data working group to develop and validate technologies aimed at facilitating the understanding, interoperability, and secure cross-organization integration of Origin Trail's DKG for the electronic and aeronautics sector, creating a new powerful knowledge base with artificial intelligence capabilities. The DKG will establish a decentralized database accessible to all participants in a manufacturing value chain, including the manufacturers, suppliers, distributors, retailers, regulatory bodies, research institutes, and others. So this is not only going to help the companies getting involved with the DMAS project, but Origin Trail is also going to keep all of this information on record. Now, what that is going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is essentially add to its DGK, like they mentioned here, and this will give future aeronautics companies the ability to source this information to make even better decisions. That's going to dramatically improve efficiency across the board here. So, again, not regretting this decision. Now, this DMAS project, it's got some heavy hitters behind it. And when I went to look a little bit deeper, I was able to find it on the European Commission's official EU funding and tenders portal. And you can see I have a certain agency highlighted. This agency, ladies and gentlemen, Health and Digital Executive Agency, has been behind a number of digital initiatives for the last 20 years. Connecting Europe Facility, a program that supports projects of common interest, deploying secure, resilient, and high-capacity networks, including 5G and backbone infrastructures, fostering economic growth, innovation, and competitiveness in the digital sector. The Digital Europe program, which aims to build the strategic digital capacities of the EU. The EU for Health, which is the fourth and largest of the EU health programs right now. It got a lot of attention during our pandemic a few years back. And then Horizon Europe. This is a very interesting one. It's the EU's key funding program for research and innovation, tackling climate change and helping to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals and boost the EU's competitiveness and growth. Hadia has been a part of Horizon Europe, digital industry, and space. It was preceded by the Horizon 2020 program between 2014 and 2020. Now, I highlight this Horizon 20 program because it's going to pop up in a second. But this agency, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, this is the list of current initiatives that they have running, and they've been a big player for quite some time. So very interesting to see Origin Trail associating themselves with Hadia and some of their managed projects. Now, over here we have Origin Trail's post on the news, and They worded this in a very interesting way that sent this video in a completely different direction. They state that making sure any takeoff is done safely, enter DMAST, an EU-funded initiative harnessing Origin Trail to advance the digital product passport for enhanced responsiveness to external and unforeseen events in electronics and aerospace industries. So, the digital product passport is an initiative that the EU has been working on for a number of years. Essentially, it's a tool to create transparency and unlock circularity proposed by the European Commission that will share product information across the entire value chain, including data on raw material extraction, production, recycling, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why the US is behind, because countries like the EU, and I can find this information for the UK, Australia, China, Japan, they already have their digital initiatives in place, and they're already choosing the chains or ledgers with the best software that they want to work with. This EU digital passport, I've been hearing about it for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, like I said, they've been talking about this for a number of years. Well, recently, in December, the EU governing bodies have provisionally approved digital product passports. So I'm not fully versed in EU politics, but just based on my reading of this article and the understanding is that this is a step further, one step closer to being formally approved or being finalized. They are looking to have this finalized as soon as 2027, according to research from ABI, where they state that between 2026 and 2027, digital product passports will be first implemented in the greatest environmental impact product group, batteries in vehicles. According to global technology firm ABI Research, over 5 million BEVs will be sold with a battery digital passport in Western Europe, where global manufacturers will have to start creating life cycle assessments by 2025. So, with them wording this association with the words digital product passport, that really does tie it to a much bigger picture that is going on in the EU right now. Just to give you an example of some of the players that can get involved here, this goes on to state that successful DPPs rely on strategic data management across ecosystem players. Manufacturers must invest in robust tools for supply chain data and disclosures to unlock the full potential. Initiatives like the Global Battery Alliance with partners such as Audi and Tesla, along with Circular, MindSpider, Minervo, and Siemens, prototype battery passports to enhance traceability in the battery value chain. Now, down here, it mentions Avery Dennison, that's a Hedera partner. And then there's another project called Energy Web that does a lot of work with these EV battery and EV battery life cycle management. So that's a very big narrative to follow. Origin Trail seems to really be leaning into the aerospace side. And when you look at the offerings and partners, it's very vast. Supply chain, construction materials, life sciences, and healthcare. Remember, the governing organization behind this initiative is really focused on health. That's where they started creating their programs, the EU for Health digital program that is sponsored by HEDA. So that's an interesting connection. Scientific research, metaverse, and gaming. If they don't really dig into this, I wouldn't be bothered, because their superpower seems to be in this supply chain, life sciences, raw materials area, right? Now, if you're new to Origin Trail, and you can see this is their partners here, wild. But these relationships are formed thanks to Trace Labs, which is the company behind Origin Trail. We will definitely be digging more into them in the coming weeks. But they're the reason how Origin was able to land deals like this. Awarded by Walmart Food Safety Collaboration, Origin Trail was the first blockchain to receive a prestigious Walmart Food Safety Innovation Award. Now, we've seen associations between blockchains and Walmart before. It's rare to see an image like this, ladies and gentlemen. Another reason why I don't regret adding Origin Trail to the content roster. But we also have A Trust, which when I first started looking into Origin, this is one of the applications that stood out to me. It's in partnership with BSI. And again, it ties into the healthcare programs that HEDA is already working with. So I firmly believe that there is more potential for this to be incorporated into that program, as it is already serving a lot of NGOs in Europe. Now, this one just pretty much puts it right on the head here. European Union supports food safety market with trace labs to facilitate blockchain adoption. Now, a few minutes ago, we mentioned Horizon 2020, which was another program that was governed by HEDA. And you can see here, this is an SME-powered industrial platform to boost competitiveness of European food certification, has received funding from European Union Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program under the grant agreement. So they have government-funded, union-funded initiatives centered around the advancement of blockchain technology. And I'm telling you guys, the more years I get into this space, the more I realize that there aren't many blockchains or ledgers being chosen for these types of applications. Origin Trail is one of those few, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where I try to keep my focus, is the ledgers and chains that are creating the best software and applications that these enterprises are coming in to use. Origin is definitely one of those, guys. And, not that it's the most important aspect, but if you look at the chart's looking great too. All time up 500+%. Last bull run maxed out at about $2.50 roughly. Right now we're just under $1, and the bull run hasn't even started yet. So very interesting position. I don't currently have a position myself. I'm just highly interested in the project and seeing what they can do. My goal, honestly, is to begin working with some of these companies, developing out media, special presentations, telling these stories. It gets deep, don't want to go on a tangent. However, when I do want to get some crypto, I go to a certain place. It's Uphold. As a matter of fact, you can get Origin Trail on Uphold as well. And after that, I buy my crypto and I move it to my hardware wallet. We're currently using the SafePal hardware wallet. They're a channel partner. So yes, I do get compensated if you decide to use the link in the description. I want to thank you in advance. With that though, that's all for this one. Now we've made it to the best part. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.